Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll provide a review of my stock portfolio and the dividends I received during the month of December. I'll also discuss any stocks I've bought or sold this month, and I'll also discuss my income and expenditure for my rental property investments, and I've had quite a number of outgoings this month which I'll explain later. My stock portfolio currently stands at £23,527.46 invested. I don't look at the market value as it's irrelevant to me and my goals. I'm only interested in the dividends that the portfolio receives. I'm never looking to sell a single stock to take out of my portfolio, as I don't like the stress of having to choose when to sell. So my strategy is just to buy and hold. There has been some movement again in my portfolio this month. I mentioned in my November update that I was toying with the idea of averaging down on some positions over December, which I decided to follow through on. I know that I've got too many holdings currently, so I am looking to reduce the number down to a more manageable level. A lot of the companies aren't bad companies, so I've averaged down to reduce the average cost, which will hopefully mean I can sell sooner, as I refuse to ever sell at a loss. And in the meantime, I'll just continue to pick up dividends until I do sell. So I got 3 shares of AT&T for an average cost of $29.03, bringing my total number of shares to 32. This gives me a cost per share of $31.86 and a yield on cost of 6.53%. I bought 3 shares of Enbridge for an average cost of $31.58, giving me 7 shares in total. This gives me a cost per share of $35.53 and a yield on cost of 7.35%. I bought 3 shares of ExxonMobil for an average cost of $38.95, bringing my total number of shares to 10. I have a cost per share of $60.08 and a yield on cost of 5.79%. I added 2 shares of Verizon for an average cost of $61.26. This gives me 4 shares in total and a cost per share of $56.63 and a yield on cost of 4.43%. I got 1 share of Waste Management for $116.89. This gives me 4 shares in total, a cost per share of $103.26 and a yield on cost of 2.23%. I got 25 shares of BP for an average of £2.56, bringing my total number of shares to 84. This gives me a cost per share of £3.86 and a yield on cost of 4.15%. I bought 3 shares of British American Tobacco for an average cost of £26.65, giving me 12 shares in total. I've got a cost per share of £32.67 and a yield on cost of 6.43%. I bought 3 shares of Johnson Matthey for an average cost of £22.83, bringing my total number of shares to 15. I have a cost per share of £27.82 and a yield on cost of 1.83%. I added 12 shares of Tate & Lyle for an average cost of £6.50. I'd noticed that the market price per share was close to my average price per share, so as I was looking to trim this stock for my portfolio, it meant that buying 12 more shares would push the average price of my holding below the market value so that I could sell. I added 4 shares of the Vanguard FTSE All World High Dividend Yield at an average cost of £41.77. I now have 13 shares in total. This gives me an average cost per share of £40.95 and a yield on cost of 3.36%. I also got 1 share of the Vanguard FTSE 100 ETF for £29.16. This gives me 14 shares in total, a cost per share of £27.67 and a yield on cost of 3.67%. I also sold out of 2 positions, 1 share of Amgen for $230, and as I mentioned, I sold 22 shares of Tate & Lyle for an average of £6.80 per share. All of the proceeds from the sales were used towards funding the purchases this month. So after all of the buys and sells, this means that the overall yield for my portfolio as a whole currently sits at 3.47%, which equates to £714 per year in predicted dividends, or £59.50 per month. This month I've actually received £66.90 in dividends from 19 different stocks. There's always going to be a discrepancy between my actual dividends received and my predicted dividends, just due to the timing of me purchasing shares and being eligible through the ex-date. I received £5.63 from 3M, £1.02 from Amgem, which I've sold out of now, £4.72 from Ashmore, £6.96 from BAE Systems, £2.14 from the Bank of America, £2.31 from BP, £8.20 from Coca-Cola, £1.58 from Enbridge, £3.38 from ExxonMobil, 71p from Greencoat, £6.40 from the HDLG ETF, £2.57 from Johnson & Johnson, £6.57 from McDonald's, £4.32 from Pfizer, £2.34 from Realty Income, £2.25 from Royal Dutch Shell, £4.14 from Walgreens Boots, £1.03 from Waste Management, and 63p from Wells Fargo. You can see from the graph that June, September and December are my highest months, and I expect March to be included in this going forward. I'm averaging £42.99 per month for this calendar year in actual dividends, which I am very happy with. My long-term goal is to hopefully push through the £50 per month average. As always, all dividends stay in the portfolio and are used to purchase more shares. My portfolio has earned a total of £515.90 in dividends since I made my first share purchase on the 17th of December 2019. By reinvesting the dividends, this has grown my portfolio from £23,011.56 to £23,527.46, which is a growth of around 2.24% so far. I expect this percentage to get larger over time as more dividends are received and then reinvested. I also invest in property, and I've recently completed my third property purchase. So I rent 2 out and I live in 1. My 1-bedroom apartment is tenanted and the other 2-bedroom apartment is vacant as it's only recently gone onto the market. So what did the finances look like this month from the properties? So I received £700 in rental income, but I have had a lot of outgoings this month. So for the tenanted property, £84 including VAT was spent on the management fee of 10%, and £230.61 was spent on the mortgage. For the untenanted property, I spent £90 on a new oven hob as one of the rings wasn't working and I wanted to put it right for any prospective tenants. I spent £700 on 2 beds and 2 mattresses, and I spent around £50 on paint and decorated equipment to freshen the place up and also some minor repairs. I also spent £120 on an EICR certificate, which just certifies that the property's electrics are safe and this lasts for 5 years. I used to live in the 2-bedroom property, so I've had to obtain a consent to let agreement with my mortgage provider. This costs £120 per year to be able to rent the flat out, but I get to keep my existing residential mortgage deal. And then £300.20 was spent on the mortgage, as it still needs to be paid even though it is untenanted. This leaves a total profit of £385.39 for flat 1 and a loss of £1,380.20 for flat 2. I always build up an emergency fund for my properties, so everything was paid for from this account. I'm not really worried about the big outlay, and I expect to recoup all of these losses once a tenant is found. So if we total up my dividend income and my rental income, this gives me a loss of £994.81 in total for the month. A lot of these costs, such as beds, mattresses, paint, etc., are all one-off costs, so I expect to make this back over time once a tenant is in place. The vacant property is being marketed for £825 per month, so once I get a tenant in, I should start making profit again and recoup those losses. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and found it interesting and informative, and I hope it's given you inspiration and ideas for your own personal finances. If you have, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.